18,000. That is the exact number of invaders neutralized in a single region of Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, between 2019 and 2023. But here's the part that will shock you. Not a single shot was fired. While you watch this, farmers in southern Brazil are losing millions of reais as their livelihoods are liquidated overnight by a relentless nocturnal force. This isn't just a pest problem. It is a full-scale biological invasion. The European wild boar is not native to the soil of Brazil. Brought here in the 1990s for captive breeding, these animals did the unthinkable. They escaped. They crossed with domestic pigs, creating a biological bomb, a hybrid creature weighing up to 200 kilograms with the aggression of a wild beast and the reproductive speed of a machine. A single female can produce 2 litters a year, bringing 20 new soldiers into this destructive army annually. They turn lush cornfields into barren wastelands in a matter of hours, leaving families on the brink of ruin. The traditional response seems obvious. Pick up a rifle and go to work. Right? Wrong. This is where the story takes a turn that challenges everything you know about hunting. Producers in Brazil have discovered that shooting at wild boars is, in fact, the worst possible strategy. Why? Because the wild boar possesses an intelligence comparable to a German shepherd. They don't just react to danger, they study it. They recognize patterns, they memorize scents, and most importantly, they communicate. When a hunter pulls a trigger, even if they hit 1 or 2 animals, the other 50 in the sounder are recording that moment. They memorize the sound of the blast, the smell of the gunpowder, and the exact coordinates of the ambush. The result? They never return to that spot. Instead, they adapt. They become ghost boars, feeding only in the pitch-black hours of the early morning when a human eye is blind. By shooting, you aren't solving the problem. You are training the enemy to be smarter, faster, and more elusive. The data suggests these invaders are spreading across Brazil much faster than the government officially admits. This isn't just a rural issue, it's a national crisis. The question remains, how do you stop an enemy that learns from your every move? How did one region remove 18,000 animals without the sound of a single bullet? The answer lies in a technique that goes against every instinct of a desperate farmer. It requires a weapon more powerful than lead, absolute silence. This is a Corral of Patience. It is a method of induced confinement that relies on behavioral science rather than brute force. If you want to understand the technology and the discipline required to reclaim the land from this plague, pay close attention. The secret of the 18,000 is about to be revealed, and it starts with a structure that looks like a fence but acts like a trap for the mind. The Corral of Patience is a masterclass in psychological warfare. It begins with construction of a strategic fortress, usually 30 meters in diameter, built near the dense brush where the sounders hide during the heat of the day. But this isn't your standard farm fence. An adult boar can tear through chicken wire in seconds. This requires industrial-grade, welded steel mesh. The entrance is a heavy guillotine door, suspended by steel cables. But the true brain of the operation is the remote trigger system. Using high-definition night vision cameras and cellular technology, the farmer can monitor the trap from kilometers away. He isn't sitting in a cold blind with a rifle. He is in his living room, watching a live stream of the enemy's every move. This is where we separate the amateurs from professionals. For the first 2 weeks, the door stays wide open. This is a conditioning phase. The producer spreads irresistible bait, fermented corn, cassava, and sweet potatoes, both inside and outside the corral. In the beginning, the results are frustrating. The boars are hyper-suspicious. Their intelligence tells them that the structure is alien and potentially lethal. They will eat the corn on the perimeter, but they won't step inside. A young, hungry pig might take the first step, grab a mouthful, and bolt. Nothing happens. No shots, no traps, no human scent. The next night, he brings a sibling. By the second week, the entire sound, 30, 40, sometimes 60 animals, is entering and leaving the corral as if it were their private cafeteria. 90% of people fail at this stage. They see 6 or 7 hogs inside and they think, now is my chance. They drop the gate. This is a fatal mistake. If you trap only a fraction of the sounder, the survivors will witness the disappearance of their kin. They will associate the corral with ultimate danger, and they will never return. You may have caught 6, but you have just guaranteed that the remaining 40 will destroy your crops for years to come, now armed with the knowledge of your trap. The experienced producer waits. He watches the camera night after night, counting heads. He waits for the moment of total trust. He waits until the entire sounder is inside, heads down, eating peacefully without a single sentry on the outside. Then, and only then, does he press the button. In less than 2 seconds, the guillotine falls. There is no gunpowder, no muzzle flash, and no trauma to warn the other sounders in the region. The silence is preserved, and the harvest is complete. The morning after the gate falls, the management team arrives. This isn't a chaotic scene. It is a regulated, professional operation. Under the authorization of environmental agencies like Boar, the animals are transported for slaughter or scientific research. The numbers tell the true story of the victory. A single hunter working for 6 months might take down 50 to 100 boars, but in the process, he makes every survivor in the county 10 times harder to catch. In contrast, a single Corral of Patience can neutralize 80 animals in 1 night. 3 weeks later, after the scent of the previous group is faded, the same trap can be reactivated for a different sounder. Because there was no sound of gunfire to scar the landscape, the local fauna remains undisturbed, and the invaders never develop a behavioral resistance to the method. The economic recovery in Rio Grande do Sul has been nothing short of a miracle. Farms that were losing 30% of their corn and soy production have clawed back those numbers in just 2 harvest cycles. By turning the wild boar's own intelligence against it, by using its ability to learn and trust as its greatest weakness, the producers have solved a decades-old plague in a matter of months. It is a fusion of behavioral science, strategic patience, and 2.0 technology. The secret of the 18,000 is proof that in the war against nature's most adaptable invaders, silence is the most lethal weapon in the arsenal. While the rest of the world is out there shooting, and making the problem worse. The masters of the silent hunt are reclaiming the Brazilian heartland, one corral at a time. This mission is a testament to what happens when farmers share intelligence and coordinate their efforts. It wasn't one man, it was a network. They shared techniques, they waited for the right moment, and they prioritized the long-term health of the land over the short-term thrill of the hunt. If you want to see the behind-the-scenes footage of a real capture operation, or if you want to learn how to apply these behavioral management techniques to your own property, you need to be part of this community. This is where we show the side of the agribusiness world that nobody else captures. Let us know in the comments. Has the boar plague reached your region? What is the biggest threat to your harvest? We are reading every story. Don't forget to like, share this with a fellow producer, and subscribe to stand with us on the front lines. The war is far from over, but for the first time, we have the upper hand. Stay disciplined, stay patient, and always protect the land.